The hidden cost, how toxic jobs steal our sleep. This is for Black women in toxic jobs. This is a situation where you're trying to fall asleep at night and you replaying what happened at the job over and over and over again. You're thinking about what you should have said to somebody and how dare they did this and just replaying it, and it just robs you of your sleep. So we're going to talk just really briefly today about this experience, how it robs your sleep, and what are the things you can do about it, okay? So if you haven't already registered for the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, please register today. Early registration ends on Friday. So you will learn not only about what to do about your sleep, because Dr. Robyn is one of our guests, but you'll also learn about how to address your mindset, because when you leave a job, particularly a toxic job, it's not easy. So we have to address the mindset hurdles that keep us in a toxic job. You will also learn about ways to replace your income and what to do about health insurance, retirement, life insurance. If you want to look into discrimination issues and possible severance, we're going to cover all of that during the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, May 18th and 19th. So early registration is open now until this Friday, okay? So click in the description section to get your ticket, and also to let you know that we are going to value your privacy, so no one's face will be seen except for the speakers, and your name will not be listed. So don't feel that somebody's going to find out about you there. Nobody will know, okay? So if you don't know me already, I'm Dr. Kamani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, a toxic job survivor, and more importantly, I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. So we're here to talk about sleep with a sleep expert, okay? So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Robyn for her to introduce herself, and we're going to go right into the conversation. So Dr. Robyn, can you introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm so excited about this summit, really liberating Black women. My background, I've been a clinical pharmacist for over 20 years, and I really, I've always had clients and patients. When you're working in a pharmacy, they're always coming to you and asking you about all the different over-the-counter meds they can take for various things. And one of them was sleep. And it really intrigued me because the people who would come to us, they really weren't finding relief from that sleep that they wanted to. Some of the ones were finding they were getting weird side effects of some of the different over-the-counter meds that they wanted. Some of them just weren't finding they weren't effective at all. Some were finding that it was so effective that they were sleeping for days at a time. They were just groggy and they couldn't wake up. So it really intrigued me, and it helped me to really go deep into start studying what sleep medicine is. And I stand from a standpoint that sleep now and today, 2024, is literally a skill set. 100 years ago, we didn't have this. We didn't have sleep medicine. So today, physicians can actually go in, they can do fellowships, residencies, and actually become sleep medicine specialists. So it's something very interesting. What has happened in the past 100 years? We know so much. Society's totally changed just in 4 years, let alone 100. What has happened to really make sleep a skill set for people, especially if they're going through issues with toxic jobs? So that's some of my background.
That is very intriguing. A skill set. A skill set. And, you know, I want to talk about sleep because when you don't get good sleep, it just messes you up all the way around. So you wake up tired, you're irritable, you can't concentrate, you even look jacked up, right? So that's why it's so important for us to really look at what are the things stealing our sleep so we can reclaim our sleep back. So, Dr. Robyn, can you share what are the ways that a toxic job can rob Black women of their sleep?
Yeah, one of the major ways you opened up with is that panicking and that anxiety feeling. You talked about like that negative rumination where we're just stewing over workplace drama, stewing over microaggressions. And we can't, you actually have to alert the body that it's time to rest and calm down. And if the mind is going 1,000 miles a minute, because of what happened to you at work, not just today, but what's been happening over a pattern of time. It's very hard to really calm the mind, body, and spirit down to get the rest that you need. It really promotes, and most of the people who come to me, they have stress-induced insomnia.
Mm.
So this really makes it even worse, just really stress, and it becomes a vicious cycle as well.
Yeah. So when you think about, replaying things over and over and over again, when I talk about being in a toxic job, I talk about physical and psychological symptoms, but I think the robbing of sleep is a hidden cost because
Mhm.
now you're factoring in how much your job is influencing you at home when you're trying to rest. So that is a huge cost to us. So can you talk a little bit in terms of how does all of this affect us? So I said some things, right? So I
Yeah,
said
you gave us a
irritable, you look jacked up. What are some
Mhm.
of the other ways that not getting enough sleep can affect us?
So not getting enough, definitely beauty sleep is not a myth. You see people with really bad under eye circles, and you're going to be aging a lot faster if you don't get that rest, because you do a lot of rejuvenation and DNA repair during sleep. So there's
Hmm.
really physical effects, mental effects, and also I recall maybe emotional effects as well. So the
Mm-hmm.
physical effects, if we are noticing issues either being underweight or having too much weight, our appetites are actually regulated while we're sleeping, which is really amazing. So those could be some issues going on there. Definitely with cardiovascular disease, it puts us at higher risk for having hypertension and other heart disease issues. Also, they're finding studies that puts you at more risk for chronic disease like diabetes. So it definitely affects, definitely physically. If you have, if you like to work out or do any type of just even simple walking, you're going to have decreased physical performance as
Mm.
well if you don't get that sleep. We're just exiting cough and cold season now, which is great. But
Mm-hmm.
people who found themselves always coughing, constantly sneezing, a never ending sore throat,
Mm-hmm.
getting lack of sleep, not getting enough actually decreases the function of your immune system. And that's
Mm.
super important. We need our immune system to fight off, invasions of viruses, bacteria,
Mm-hmm.
fungi, all of that. So that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely something to keep in mind for physically. We've all heard that saying emotionally, well, someone they got up on the wrong side of the bed.
Right.
So they didn't get any sleep. They woke up cranky, just in a bad mood. And if you're already in a toxic job situation, now you're
Mhm.
going in cranky and totally misaligned with colleagues, boss. It just makes a bad situation really a lot worse. Um,
Yeah.
it puts you at more risk for mental disorders if people have a disposition to have issues with that, especially you with being a clinical psychologist. You probably
Mhm.
saw this in your practice. Not getting enough sleep definitely depreciates your mental abilities.
Mhm. Mhm.
um, we're both entrepreneurs and mothers and just doing so many things. We need that mental aptitude that we get during sleep when our brain is
Mhm.
repairing. So people who don't get that sleep, they can see cognitive decline, and they're not
Mm.
able to make really good decisions if they're on their job or in their business. So it
Yeah.
really affects you on all levels: body, mind, emotional, and physical as well. So yeah, a lot of
It's so interesting, Dr. Robin, as you were talking, I was thinking several things. One thing I was thinking was if you're not resting well, you wake up irritable, and
yes.
then you come into a hostile situation, a toxic situation. So you're not at your best to kind of
Mhm.
fend things off, right? And even when we think about when we go into these environments as Black women, there's so much preparation that we have to do, mental preparation to
Mhm.
prepare ourselves to go into these situations. If we're exhausted, then we're not at our full capacity to
So
kind of
true.
ward off the toxicity. So I'm
Mhm.
wondering, in some ways, does that make it more challenging, or the toxicity kind of penetrates a little more because you're not able to kind of protect yourself because you're exhausted?
Mhm.
The other thing I was thinking about too, Dr. Robin, was the whole stereotype about the angry Black woman. So
Yes.
most of us, are aware of the stereotype, and when we go into the workplace, we are so hyper aware of how am I talking? How did I
Yes.
how did I act that way? How did like all those things, that mental
And
gymnastics
that
of just,
hypervigilance is
oh,
actually stressing us out.
yes,
Yes.
right.
Mhm.
So if you're going through that, but you're already again irritable because you haven't gotten the rest,
Right.
then you might engage in behaviors that then you're like, oh my God, I'm fulfilling the stereotype of the angry
Mhm.
Black woman, then start beating yourself up, which is a negative thing all the way around. So,
Right.
Dr. Robyn, as one of the speakers of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit, can you share with anyone who hasn't registered yet, another reason why they need to register is about sleep? And like you said, the skill, like sleeping well is a skill. Can
Yeah.
you share with the audience some of what you're going to be talking about during the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women?
Right. So as I opened up, I talked about how sleep is a skill set now. 100 years ago, you didn't have your cell phone and a laptop on. So I'm going to be walking women through from the beginning of their day, because getting good sleep at night actually starts at the beginning of their day and how they start their day out. So we're going to be walking through an entire day of what they need to do so that they can stay well rested, decrease stress, and really just feeling rejuvenated and ready to take on their world. So we're going to look at all types of levels. We're going to look at full body, head to toe. So we're going to look at hydration, how well you're hydrating. Are you even eating your water, which is a kind of a new novel way of getting hydration. We're going to look at movement. We're going to look at definitely detailed bedtime routines. A lot of people just jump into bed and they haven't done what I call a power down hour. So we're going to go into some of the various things that people should be doing during that power down hour to really set the tone, and it alerts the mind that it's time to rest. So we're going to be going over all of that. We're going to be looking at, because there are some issues with how race and sleep intersect one another. A lot of times we may experience, discrimination, racial issues in the workplace, microaggressions, and even financial burdens as well. So we're going to be addressing all of that. We talked about the angry Black woman, where we're going to address the strong Black woman.
Oh, yes, that one too.
Stereotype is the angry one. So, and that's what I love about your movement. We're getting away from that stereotype. We no longer want to be the strong Black woman. Instead, we have great boundaries for ourselves, our families, and for our rest. And so we're allocating everyone in the family to pitch in, to help out, hiring help, because we're no longer the strong Black woman, which, we all think of, that grandma in the kitchen, the strong Black woman with the swollen feet and, bending over backwards for everyone. And it didn't really get her anywhere.
Right.
So we have thrown that away. So we're going to go into how that intersects with sleep as well. So we have a whole really head to toe body, mind, and spirit program that we're going to go into in the summit.
Awesome. I love the power down hour.
Yes.
I didn't even know that. So an hour before. Okay. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to listen about it or hear about it during the summit. So I don't want you to give all the goodies away, Dr. Robyn, because I want Black women to register for the the Summit, right? I don't want to give all the goodies away, but can you share one of the goodies that maybe someone watching this right now, or a Black woman watching this right now, maybe can help her? Can you share one golden nugget?
So one of the major nuggets I want them to understand is sleep is not a luxury. Okay, it's not a Louis Vuitton purse. It's not, your Birkin bag. It is literally a necessity. It is one of the core major foundations for our health, our mental, emotional, and physical health. So getting that in the mindset that this is something you have to have. It's a necessity. You need it. And I want Black women, a lot of us have either, online calendars. We're doing, Google Calendar, Notion. I have an old fashioned where I'm just writing things in a book. I want them to get in the habit of scheduling their power down hour, their rest, their sleep. These are as important as your scheduling, your marketing activities, your sales activities. I want them to definitely be scheduling that and have that mindset that this is a complete necessity.
Because we need that to survive and to be healthy, but also to be our full selves, so we're able to navigate being in these hostile environments and do well.
Even to get yourself out of the hostile environment, you have to be, really have good cognitive abilities to do that. Or else it would be an endless loop. So
Yeah.
getting that good sleep, you will have good cognition to be able to make really good decisions as to what you should do going forward.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit earlier, Dr. Robin, and you
Mhm.
said something I've heard a lot of Black people say, and I want you to talk a little bit about this because I've heard this. I'll sleep when I'm dead, or
Mhm.
like I got to keep grinding. I don't have time to rest. I got things to do. Can
Yes.
you speak a little bit? Because I think a lot of this has to do with us Black people, how we generally are not given certain things. So we've had to overwork,
Right.
but I think somewhere in there it's become lost that we have to constantly be that way and that we don't have time to rest or we can't prioritize rest. Can
Mhm.
you speak a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, that's also going into the mindset of reprogramming yourself. How that is very detrimental. That saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm just
Mm,
going to grind and knock it out." But if you don't have the proper rest, sleep, you're not going to grind and knock it out. You're going to have lower productivity. You're going to
true.
have lower mental function.
Mm-hmm.
We always heard the saying that health is wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And so if are on 100 prescriptions and, visiting the doctor every other week with outrageous bills, you're not really doing the grinding that you say that you want to do. So
Right.
that's something I want them to get into the mindset that that's unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep, once again, is a necessity, and don't fall into that trap that I'll just sleep when I'm dead because I got to grind out. If you have the understanding that you won't be able to grind out to your maximum if you're exhausted all the time, stressed out, and sick.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
just won't happen.
Yeah, because I think you mentioned, Dr. Robin, that when we look at the connection between chronic diseases and rest,
Mhm.
that mentality might lead to your mortality. Like, in terms
Yeah,
of you're doing things that are increasing the likelihood that you're not going to live a long life. So
right.
the importance of stopping and finding time to rest, no matter what your obligations are,
Mhm.
always make some time to rest. Like you said,
Definitely.
prioritize your rest. I see in the chat, sleep hygiene is essential for health. There
Yeah.
are over 100 illnesses connected to lack of sleep. Wow.
Mhm.
Memory problems, irritability. Oh, car accidents. Yes,
Yes, that's a
car accidents
major one.
associated with
Sleep
sleep problems.
deprivation is, yeah, that's very serious with traffic incidents. Yeah.
Yeah. How many of us have heard about people who fall asleep at the wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's way too common. It really
Yeah.
is. Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes. So, ladies, as you heard Dr. Robin, you're going to learn so many things about your sleep hygiene, your skill in relation to getting your sleep together. So, again, register for the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, May 18th and 19th. Marissa Price and I are co hosting this. So, Dr. Robin is one of our speakers. We also have Stephanie Perry kicking it off, talking about job detox. Dr. Robin was talking about mindset. When we think about being in a toxic job, one of the biggest issues that most of us have is our mindset. So
Right.
our fears about leaving or our mentality that we have to stay, we have to stick it out, we got to fight people, we got to all these other things. We need
Mhm.
to go through that mindset or address the mindset hurdles so we're able to walk through and access the things that we need to do to get out. And we're
Yeah.
also going to be talking during the summit about ways to replace your income, also about what to do about your health insurance, your life insurance, your retirement, also about talking about our mental health and ways that mental health is impacted by a toxic job, how burnout, what does that look like, and how to connect to our dreams and our joy, right? So Alicia Renice is going to be
Yes.
talking about that. And we're going to have Amory Archer, the anti-HR HR lady, talking about issues of discrimination and what you can do, okay? So she is an attorney and an HR consultant. So again, register for the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, May 18th and 19th. Early registration is going on now until Friday. So if you want to save some coins, I think it's a good idea to register as soon as possible and to emphasize again that you will not be seen on camera. Your name will not be listed anywhere. If you have a question or a comment, you can change your name on the platform, okay? So don't let that keep you from accessing a way to get out, okay? So if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Lifting As We Climb Consulting, Wellness Services, Please give this video a thumbs up. It lets YouTube know to suggest this video to other Black women. And please share this video with at least 2 other Black women, okay? So I know what it's like to have jacked up sleep. It is oh God, because you're in the middle of the night and you're upset because you're replaying what happened at the job.
Right.
And you're frustrated because you can't go to sleep. And then you're super frustrated because you know you're going to wake up tired.
Yep. And then you go, like you say, you go and you don't act your best and make poor decisions. And it's a vicious cycle. And so it's time for us to break that cycle. So I'm so excited about the summit. Yeah.
Yes. So if sleep is being robbed from you because of a toxic job, you need to come to the summit. Okay. So again, register. Information's on the screen as well as in the description section. And I will see you later. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.